Hey,
you
guys.
are a walking shit list.
Oh, hey, everybody. What's
Welcome
up?
to the show this week, everybody. Just so you know, Dave
Dave
is a walking, talking, 12-song shit list.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to disconnect the
And
stream.
hey,
You had
and hey,
one job.
if you're here to listen to us talk about our 12-song shit list for these upcoming bands,
Hold on, Josh. You're still muted.
No, you're not.
No, I'm just kidding. Ha ha ha.
oh, okay.
Got your ass.
If you're here to hear us talk about these shitty lists and these shitty songs, then look down below for the timestamp to the start of the actual Metalhead's Journey Big Four Super Show Spectacular.
Super Show?
If you're lucky.
Super Show.
If you're
Super
really
Show.
lucky, the timestamps will actually be there.
That's right, dude.
Oh,
Hey, we're looking for free pro bono editors. I need it to be free, and no, I'm just kidding.
and professional.
Yeah, you need to be really good, and also we can't pay you or
Yes.
provide you any type of reciprocation to your work.
Correct.
But if we all go out to CC's together, you might be able to get me to pay for your at the counter.
Yeah.
At the last moment.
Yes.
Hey, y'all should probably ixnay on that. Probably. Probably.
Why? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because we're on the internet. That's why. We're like live. There could be witnesses to these things.
Be like, we're gonna have an army outside the nearest
The-
CCs. Be like, hey,
Adrian, sit how you would normally sit, because I feel like you have moved differently.
I mean, dude, what do you want from me? Like,
Okay,
how's
there.
that?
Well, that's good, because you were so close. The top of your fucking noodle was cut off, and I want to make sure that it's right. Dude, why are you moving your camera? All right,
Because you
dude,
said the top of my noodle was cut off.
because you were sitting close, but you scooched back.
Oh, this is premium content.
Man, you know what's good? You know what's easy about creating a best of Anthrax list? You just skip to the albums we're about to review, and then just
Yeah.
start your list. Nah, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. There's actually some good songs.
There's some good ones mixed in there.
Yeah,
Correct.
that was a joke.
Yeah. So for those watching out there, this is going to be there's going to be a little bit of a gap in between this show and our next one here. We're going to be on today, and then we're not coming back until next Saturday. So not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. And believe it or not, I know there's been a lot of people clamoring for this out in the world. We're going back to the American Film Institute's top 100 films of all time.
correct.
I should probably know what the number is. I know it's Easy Rider.
It is.
Let me
Is
see.
it
which number that
85?
is. I don't know.
I thought we just did an awards, and then the next one was Easy Rider 85.
Easy Rider's 84. Yeah, so Night at the Opera was the last one.
Ah, damn, I was wrong. Okay.
So yeah, Easy Rider at 84. Then we got Titanic coming up, Spartacus. It's a couple of good ones.
Were you going to name any of them?
Adrian's being a jerk. He said we got a couple good
okay.
ones. He said, "Are you going to name any of them?"
I did.
No.
Did you not hear me? Did it cut off?
No, he's
No,
being a
you're-
jerk. He's being sarcastic.
Oh, because he says those aren't good ones.
Yes.
Oh, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Listen. Titanic's okay. I mean, you get a good looking Kate Winslet in there.
I heard it made a few dollars at the box office.
Yeah, and the whole second half of the movie is basically an action
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, the ship that they were on, I think.
Dave, was that me and you talking about that the other day where Quentin Tarantino remade Titanic?
Dude, how good it would be, because it would be alternate universe.
Samuel L. Jackson be the captain. He'd be like,
Dude, you could
look
get.
at this
I didn't even think about this.
bird.
You could cast Leo in the movie in a different role.
Oh yeah, for sure. But everybody all of a sudden rolls up on the side of the ship with machine guns and cannons, and they start just cutting that fucking iceberg down. Yep.
right.
Or they install like a fucking like massive saw blade on the end of the ship, and that fucking cuts a little hole right as it goes by. Or everybody's got the flamethrowers from Once Upon a Time.
Correct.
Oh man, okay, I'm ready.
Are you sure?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do this then, man. Let's get started.
Hold on,
I'm
wait.
excited.
I'm sorry. How fucking awesome was it when he whipped out that flamethrower at the end?
Dude, that was so over the top.
That was so
Like,
good.
it wasn't needed, but in hindsight, it's like I couldn't watch that movie and not have that scene.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
We talked about it. We talked about it last week on the pod for a little bit. Because I picked Brandy the dog as one of the best 4 animal sidekicks in history.
Nice, very nice.
Adrian.
Yes.
All of them thieves. Man, that's such a good song. You got that song in my head.
Oh, dude. I don't know what the song means, but man, they play like the fucking song and everything is really like the melody's really good.
I know it's a banger for sure. All right, let's get into it.
All right.
Wait.
We're talking about Slayer. All right, guys. Professionals here.
Yeah. Hey, the week. Oh god, he's going to. All right. Well, hey, the week after that, we're gonna be doing Titanic on the. We got a little bit of here before we get on to the next TV shows. So, I think the next couple of TV shows we're gonna do are gonna be the end of the season 4 recap for Star Trek, and then we got Obi-Wan coming up, which I think right now the plan is to do a one episode review of Obi-Wan.
I don't know if that or if we're gonna do. I don't know exactly. I
Dave,
don't know.
I think the plan was to watch the
See the first
episode,
episode.
gauge hype, and ask the audience, you guys, kind of what you want to see. If there's some hype around it, we'll do episode by episode. But if there's not a lot of hype, then we'll just do a season review
or mid-season and then final.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out.
I love Star Wars. I do not have high hopes for that show.
Well, Boba Fett didn't help that.
Yeah.
All right, sorry guys.
You got Mannequin Skywalker coming back, so
Mannequin Skywalker.
Oh God, I'm ready. Let's
All
do
right.
this.
Let's do it.
all right. Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents A Metalhead's Journey, Big 4 Super Show Spectacular, featuring Anthrax and Slayer. I'm your co-host, the Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami.
David Disaster.
And Adrian Aftershock. Was I not supposed to say and?
It doesn't matter. What's up, everybody?
What
It all works out.
Welcome back. Welcome
What's
back,
good?
Metalheads.
Yes. Welcome back.
Dude. This is a big day, man. This truly is a super show spectacular here. We're talking about 2 bands of the Big 4. We're finishing off all of their albums in this show. The last 3 from Slayer and the last 3 from Anthrax.
And hey, I'm not trying to peel back the curtain too much, but I feel like both of these bands ended like opposite in terms of whereas at least for me, without giving away scores this early, for me, I think Slayer got worse with each release in these batch of 3, and I think Anthrax got better with each release. So,
I don't disagree.
I think definitely an interesting switcheroo. I know that if you've been following along in the podcast, Anthrax has not done traditionally well here on Three Guys and a Mic, but I think tonight might be their night.
If you're an Anthrax fan, we apologize. Because look, we haven't been on board fully with much of Anthrax, but
Well, to be fair, those albums were shit.
yeah, if you weathered the storm, I think you're gonna enjoy tonight's pod.
Man, imagine like a longtime Anthrax fan, and they got to hear us talk about how their recent albums are their best work. Man, that's like that's got to be vomit for them.
Hey, man,
I don't know.
It is what it is. Look, man, you know how I know those albums were shit?
How?
Because we rated them using the Three Guys and a Mic patent pending shitometer.
Yep.
Where the name of the game on the shitometer is you want to get the lowest score possible.
Right.
So, if you'd have told me at the beginning of when we did like the first 4 Anthrax albums that I would be giving out some of the scores tonight for some of these Anthrax albums, I would have called you a liar, because we had to. I feel like Andy Dufresne, where I had to climb through 500 yards of shit fouling, whatever, water or whatever he says, to get to, be clean on the other side here.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough ride. Like, I'm not going to joke. When I was going through this and we were trying to compile our favorites, like, there was literally no favorites on 4 straight albums.
Yeah. Yeah, State of Euphoria is still the worst album I've possibly ever heard in my life. It's worse than Risk from Megadeth. Look, we're
it was among the living for me.
Not to peel back the curtain too far here, but upcoming after we cover Metallica here in the next section of the Big Four Metalhead's Journey, we're going to be doing a Metalhead's Journey top 50 heavy metal albums of all time. And there could be a couple of shitty albums in there. I don't know.
I mean,
there's a couple of albums in there from Death that sound like shit. There's a Dream Theater album in there that's pretty bad.
I feel personally attacked.
No,
but we'll. I haven't decided. I don't know, guys. I mean, we don't have to decide it now, but I don't know if we put the list out there ahead of time or if we kind of leave some surprise in.
I think we should put the 5 out that we're going to tackle every episode. Put them out early. Let everybody else listen to them too, right?
Yeah. That's a good call. But yeah,
I will say, as a Death fan, I'm sorry. Those are the 2. I mean, easily for me, my 2 favorite Death albums. I mean, they only have 7, right? But
yeah,
I think y'all are in for a treat with these 2.
Oh, I like Death. I'll listen to Death. I got no problem with.
Okay,
I might.
Maybe, but I guess Josh, you wanna kick us off here?
Yep. All right. So we decided that we did Slayer first here to start off the next leg of the Metalhead's Journey. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Slayer. So we're going through albums 9 through 11 here with Slayer, starting with Christ Illusion. This album was released in August of 2006. This album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard. It produced 2 singles, Cult and Eyes of the Insane. They actually win the Grammy for a song for Eyes of the Insane in 2007. And then they also win the Grammy the next year for the song Final Six. Now, you guys might be saying, what's Final Six? Well, I have the Eyes of the Insane is on the album. Final Six is a special edition track that apparently is not available on Spotify. So you would have to go find that somewhere else.
All right. Well, I didn't listen to it.
I didn't either. They won a Grammy for it. I meant to go look it up on YouTube somewhere, and I forgot. So might be a good song.
I wrote Eyes of the Insane. Okay song.
Yeah. Well, they won a Grammy for it. So yeah. So with this album, we actually see the return of Dave Lombardo on drums. This is reuniting the original lineup for the first time since Seasons in the Abyss. Just a fun note here: the band wanted Rick Rubin to produce this record, but he was busy helping some other mighty metal band produce greatness, Metallica, with Death Magnetic. Kerry King was upset that he was doing that album and not doing theirs, and he described that as being a slap in the fucking face. Christ Illusion. Who wants to go first here?
Look, I'll go first because you guys are more on the Slayer side than probably I am. I will just say that I was slightly disappointed in this album. I felt like a lot of it was I thought this one of the last 3, I thought this was the mail-in one. I felt like they were like, well, what is Slayer? This
of the 3 that we're about to talk about, you think this is the mail-in one?
Yeah, this is the one.
Okay.
This one is the one that sounds like just most every song kind of just this is Slayer. I did not particularly have. I had one highlight. Well, my 2 best songs on here for me were Catatonic and Supremacist. My least is, as far as a low light, would be Jihad, and followed by Cult, which I couldn't get into, and Eye of the Insane, which apparently they won a Grammy for.
Apparently you know shit, Fossil.
That is a true story. I really don't know a lot of shit. Like I said, the issue that I had with this is just nothing for me in my musical taste. And again, Slayer is really outside that bubble. Nothing really jumped off of the CD or album to me personally. Like I said, the lowest score I had on here was Catatonic, and everything else was. I didn't feel like any of this was trash. I just didn't feel like anything just leapt out to me. I ended up giving this a 41.
Okay, I'll go next. I feel like I don't know if the score is going to reflect this, but I feel like at least initially, I think I was the one who enjoyed this record the most. And I will agree with Jason. This does sound like Slayer, and I think part of that I welcomed it. Right, I think this kind of picks up where Seasons in the Abyss left off. Now, where I would say that might sound very positive. However, to Jason's point, I think the after like listening to this album like a couple of times, like I thought I was going to rank it favorably, but then after about the third or fourth listen through, I agree with Jason. This album kind of just goes by. I mean, it's 38 minutes, 10 songs on what's on Spotify, and it kind of just blurs. The songs just kind of go into each other, and it's good background music. Like if you're not really paying attention to it, it sounds bad, but it is what it is. Then their songs are fine, but there's not a whole lot of standouts here. So I did like I like Flesh Storm, the opener. I like Jihad, and I also like what was that other one? I do like is it Catatonic? Catatonic. Yeah. I like that.
Catatonic and Catalyst.
Yeah, it's Catatonic. But I don't have any lowlights because like this, there's not really anything. Everything kind of just is there. I came in at this record at a 38.
Nice. Okay. Gomez, you want to go?
Sure. So I honestly don't really have much to say that Jason and David didn't already say. It's interesting because I guess growing up, everyone would say all Slayer music, like it all sounds the same, right? But to me,
that was what was interesting about like the first four albums was like every one of those felt so different. And now when we're in this three, now I feel like we're really in that that same vein.
And it's funny because this is after people are saying, "Oh, all fucking Slayer sounds the same." They couldn't have been more wrong. But I think God Hates Us All, which is the album before this one, is kind of the start of that. Let's go back to our roots. And I mean, yeah, they're literally going back to their roots with this album with the original lineup, but I don't know. There's nothing new. There's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing special. It's good music, I guess. Like nothing's offensive to me, to my ears. I didn't want to turn it off. I wasn't inspired to turn it off at all. It just, there was nothing special about this album to me. Just like y'all said, all the songs kind of blend in together. There's just nothing memorable here at all. If I ever hear it again, I probably won't know. Meaning, like, if the song plays on the radio, I won't know which album it's from, and I won't care. I'll never play this of my own volition, but again, I may hear it on the radio or something, and okay, cool. I know I've heard this song before. I have no highlights. I have no lowlights.
Just a big bag of meh.
Just a big, giant bag of it exists, I guess. I give this album a 60.
Ooh, all right.
God damn.
Look, not to belabor the point here. Just one of the notes I had on here is Tom Araya is still crushing it. I mean, I think coming out of this, if I was starting my own super group from the Big Four, I would definitely have Tom Araya in my band singing. I mean, I would like to have James Hetfield somewhere, maybe playing rhythm and doing backup somewhere and doing some clean vocals. But I love Tom Araya. He's fantastic. Highlights for me, I got Flesh Storm, good traditional thrash banger. I got Catalyst. very aggressive, cool riffs on that one. Catatonic, I thought was very, I think off speed for them, right? Real sludgy, kind of doom metal style. So that was good.
I have change of pace song, more methodic, grindy.
Yep. Skippers for me, I had Eyes of the Insane and Conspiracy as 2 songs to be skippers. I didn't hate this album. I thought it was pretty good. I gave it a 38.
Oh, shit. Copy my score, man. Copy my notes. Okay, so that brings us not favorable. In fact, this is the lowest scoring album for Slayer since Divine Intervention. This gets a 44.25 overall score. So technically a recommend, but a very tentative recommend from us. Not too favorable from Three Guys and a Mic.
Yeah. What about what is Divine Intervention?
That had a 61. That is Slayer's worst.
Wow.
So interesting little tidbit. Jihad is actually another one of those songs where they do it's like supposedly through the eyes of one of the 9/11 hijackers. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. I hear Jihad now. I just think about Megadeth. Fucking Jihad Joe.
Coming to get you.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, take us to the next album.
All right, so we got our 10th album here from Slayer. This one's called World Painted Blood. This came out in November 2009 and peaked at number 12 on the Billboard charts. This album produced 3 singles. Psychopathy Red.
Psychopathy Red.
Psychopathy Red. Okay, Psychopathy Red. Hate Worldwide and World Painted Blood. Hate Worldwide was nominated for a Grammy, but it lost to a live version of Dissident Aggressor by Judas Priest. Also nominated in that same category was a song called Head Crusher from Megadeth, same year. How about that?
A better song than any song on this record.
Yeah. World Painted Blood was nominated for a Grammy the following year. It lost to a little band called Iron Maiden and a song called El Dorado. They were again nominated in the same category as Megadeth for a song called Sudden Death. So one other interesting side note here for this album. This album was actually produced by Greg Fiddleman, which for those out there that may or may not know, he's like Metallica's main producer now these days since he did Hardwired to Self-Destruct and he did the Ronnie James Dio medley and stuff like that. So just interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it was weird. I'll go first on World Painted Blood.
Go for it.
Okay.
For me, I just have a couple of notes on this. I think this album has some really good moments on it, but I think is largely forgettable. There is not much to like about this album. I do have more skippers and highlights here. I think we were saying earlier where the thought about Slayer traditionally is that every album sounds the same. And I haven't found that to be the case until these 3 albums. These 3 albums are easily, and especially this one and the next one, the most uninspired albums.
Agreed.
By them. Like, I don't think they're worse than Hell Awaits. Like, I think there's better riffs on these albums, but they're just kind of there, man. I don't know. I feel like we're going to keep saying that about the next couple albums. So I don't want to like keep going on this forever. But for me, the only highlight on this album is World Painted Blood. Thought it was a good opening track. Has some good riffs in it. Skippers for me. Unit 731 sounds like a worse version of the Pulp Fiction song. Has a terrible solo. American. Public Display of a Dismemberment. Psychopathy Red. I hate the fucking main riff in that song. And last song I have is Not of This God. I just put on there that it's an incredibly boring song. I did not like this album. I would not recommend. Can you hear me talking?
I had just heard that. What?
Okay, sorry.
I would not recommend. And what was your score?
Yeah, I would not recommend this album. It's not very good. I would give this album a 58.
Wow.
All right. I'll go next real quick because I don't want to run out of talking points. So this album, if I'm not mistaken, Dave Lombardo is not on this release, correct? Or he is?
He is. I believe he is on this. Yeah,
it's Repentless. It's Repentless that he's gone. Okay.
Right.
So I don't know what it is. I just the this probably didn't bother any of y'all, but for some reason there was something off about the production on this that I actually just didn't really care for too much.
You don't talk about Greg Fiddleman that way.
I mean, look, I like Greg Fiddleman enough as much as I like any producer, which is to say I'm completely indifferent. But I don't know. There was something off about this album's production. I didn't really like how it sounded. I think Slayer's long-term problems are starting to come into effect with this record again, with just kind of running out of ideas. And they don't have good guitar solos to prop up these songs, right? And I really think that's showing here. The drums actually don't sound impressive to me on this record. They just sound very typical Slayer. I only have 2 highlights, and the rest of these songs I could just delete off my Spotify, and that's World Painted Blood and Hate Worldwide. That's it. I don't think there's anything. I'm never going to go back to this record. I have this record at a 51. I don't recommend it. It's not entertaining.
You want me to go next?
Go for it.
All right, so this one, I actually did not hate this album. The problem is that I really didn't love this album. Again, similar to the prior album, it's a bunch of Slayer songs to be, I guess, as descriptive as I possibly can be. I don't have any songs on here that I would consider trash, but I would say that there's a portion of these that are just skippable. Lowlights for me: Unit 731, Snuff, Hate Worldwide, Public Display of Dismemberment, and Psychopathy Red. If highlights would probably be Beauty Through Order. Playing with Dolls, I think, is the best song on the album, but it's still not good enough to like making my favorites. I didn't mind American. Is the first song I feel like where they actually tried to sing about something that was poignant, not just a bunch of like blood and guts. Overall, I gave the album.
I'm not here for intelligence, Fossil. I'm here for blood and guts.
No, I get it, but like a lot of times, I end up detracting against Slayer because of some of the lyrics that I just can't unhear. And at least in this song, they sang about something that I could relate to. I gave them brownie points for it. So I gave this album. While it's going to end up being a recommend for me, there's not anything on here again that I would put in my favorites. I ended up with a 38 on this album.
All right. Aftershock, hit it.
So, this is just kind of more of the same. I know Josh is saying that like these 3 albums all kind of blend in. I think, and I don't disagree with that, but specifically Christ Illusion and World Painted Blood, I feel like they just kind of meld together. And when I was saying like, if I hear one of these songs on the radio, I'm not going to know which album it's on. It's just more of the same. I didn't really notice any production difference, if I'm being honest, Dave or Josh. Sorry, what's this guy's name? Greg Fiddleman.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they just sound like the same fucking album to me. There were 3 songs, however, on this album that actually stood out to me.
All right.
Those being Beauty Through Order, American, and A Psychopathy Red, which everyone hates. Truth be told, I am trying to think of how that song goes, and I got nothing.
I wrote down, it's just a bunch of yelling.
So yeah, that should probably mean it maybe shouldn't be on my highlights, but I have it.
That's a good sign of a highlight.
Yeah. Anyway, it's weird because you'd think I don't know if any band has ever found that. Well, what's the word I'm looking for here? Staying true to themselves and not changing at all. Well, so yeah, I mean, Slayer's been the most consistent, sure. I guess that's an easy way to put it, but it's to their detriment, I guess, because this is just more of the same shit, and it's just it's not trash, but it's not good either.
So like this is my prediction with Slayer. Or this, I have no idea, and I'm sure I'm incorrect, but I feel like the last true inspired record they put out was Seasons in the Abyss. I feel like they were actually still taking chances. They were still stretching themselves creatively, and like they put out really an interesting album. I feel like since then it's been go into the studio, write a bunch of material so they can tour on it, go out and tour, rinse and repeat. And then I honestly, based on what I've read about Tom Araya, and he was the main person who wanted to quit the band, he was just like done with it. He was like super over it. And my thinking, based on these last few records, I think Tom Araya was done well before they retired.
It might have been. I mean, look, it's hard to write this style of music, especially as you get older. And I think that's part of my issue with some of this. And going forward, even into the top 50 greatest metal albums, is it as you get older, your tastes change, or things start to slow down, or maybe you just don't want as heavy, or as fast, or as crazy, or as dark.
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, but I mean, in this instance, you got 4 members. What are the odds that one of them is going to be like, man, I'm really getting tired of playing this shit?
Yeah.
Anyway, I have no lowlights. Again, it's just a real big meh burger. I'm giving World Painted Blood a 55% on the shit-o-meter.
All right. This might be the first time we've ever gotten this score, but ultimately this is a non-recommend. That gives us a 50.5 on the shit-o-meter.
I just want it to be known that I'm probably the most anti-Slayer person amongst us, and I'm giving the best scores.
Yeah, yep. I feel like that's just. I think that's kind of what happens. Just how you're rating these. You're bound to kind of have some anomalies there.
That's why there's
all right.
of us.
All right, here we go. We're going into the last Slayer album here. This album is called Repentless. This came out in September of 2015 and peaked at number 4 on the Billboard charts. This album produced 3 singles: Repentless, You Against You, and Pride and Prejudice. This is the first time we really see significant lineup changes here, where we have Dave Lombardo was fired from the band over a pay dispute, marking his 3rd exit from the band. Paul Bostoff does come back as their full-time drummer. Also, sadly, on May 2nd, 2013, founding member, guitar player Jeff Hanneman dies of liver failure. He is replaced in the band by Exodus guitarist Gary Holt. Holt was really only brought in to do the solos, so he does not have really like writing credit on here from a riff standpoint. He only came in to do the solos. And fun note here, he recorded all the solos for this record in one day.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which, hey, you know what? Spoiler alert, sounds like it, unfortunately. So, Kerry King was the primary songwriter for this album. I think says a lot.
I don't think this album should have been made, honestly.
Who hasn't gone first?
Adrian, I don't think, has gone
Dave.
first.
Adrian and Dave.
All right. I'll go ahead and go first. So, of the 3, this is my favorite one.
What?
This is my least favorite.
Okay.
Me and Adrian. Come on, Adrian. Bring it home.
The production is untouchable in comparison to any other Slayer album. It's fucking crisp.
I agree with that.
Crystal clear. The production is just fucking excellent. I think between I can't think of his name. Jeff Hanneman and Kerry King. I mean, Kerry King's. Sorry, Jeff. He's always been the better guitarist, in my opinion. Better songwriter.
God. You are so stupid. I hate you. Kerry King is shit.
No. I will be honest with you. I had no idea. What's his name? John Holt?
Gary Holt.
Gary Holt.
That he didn't write any of the riffs, because I was like, man, you can definitely tell it's not just Kerry King writing this shit. And no, I guess it's just Kerry King. And I will also say the guitar solos, you're right, man. They don't stand out at all. There's not one memorable guitar solo moment.
How many songs are on this record? Like 12?
Something like that, yeah.
And he rips them all out in one day? Like, ugh.
12.
And I mean, there's just nothing special whatsoever, guitar solo wise for sure. But there were some nasty ass fucking riffs, and I love nasty ass fucking riffs. There's some memorable songs for me, man. So my highlights are Repentless, Take Control, Vices, Implode. So those are honestly, this album's very front loaded. I mean, once you get to I'd say the halfway point, you're basically kind of over it because, it falls back into that more of the same shit all over again. When we get to the end, which is probably the best song on the album, Pride and Prejudice, it's a really badass fucking song. I have no lowlights. The other songs just kind of exist. They just, to me, this does go back to a Slayer album having its own identity, though. Probably because of the production, and I just feel like the riffs are probably more inspired than they've ever been. Well, not than they've ever been. That they've been in a while, I should say. I give us a 40% on the shitometer.
All right. I'll go next real quick. Mine, I'll be relatively fast here.
You froze, Dave.
Oh, I was hearing y'all the whole time.
Yeah,
as soon as you literally right before you open your mouth, dude, you froze.
Yeah, you're like, I'll just make this quick.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird because on my end, I don't know how much. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty confident that it caught all of what I said.
Well, do it again, bro. None of us caught it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think YouTube is what's freezing. Okay. But anyway, I'll be quick here. I think there's very few highlights on this record. The production is very good, but you got Repentless, and I do like Pride and Prejudice, but overall, I'm not like in love with this record. For me, this record is pretty much ends Slayer on a weak note, and I feel like they should have just kind of just been done after Jeff Hanneman passed. I give this record a 52.
Damn. Josh, you want to go?
Let me pop in one more time before you shit on it, Josh. I don't 100% disagree that they went out on the opposite of a bang. But if they went out on this last fucking album, that would have been way fucking worse. I mean, I know they lost the founding member, but I don't know. I'm okay with this being their last album.
Yeah, me too, because I'm tired of listening to them. Look, I have in here. They have some good riffs on this album. Overall, it's very meh. Actual sentence I wrote here is, "What a boring album." I feel like you can absolutely tell that these guitar solos were recorded in a day. Like none of them. There's not just a standout. None of them are like that good. And look, I don't know shit about shit when it comes to playing guitar solos, but I know they don't sound good. Tom Araya continues to really be the only highlight for me in these albums here. As far as highlights for me, I only have one, Repentless. After that, as far as skippers go, the whole album is a borderline low light for me. I would give this album a 60.
Yikes!
All right, well, I'm gonna reel this score back in for me and Adrian. I thought this was the best of the three. While I do agree that there was nothing that they didn't take any chances. They didn't write anything ridiculous. They didn't go crazy.
They didn't write anything.
These songs have sections that keep it together. The only lowlights that I have are more in the back end of this album. When the stillness comes, Piano Wire is borderline just garbage. Atrocity Vendor, not good.
By the way, that's the only song on this album that gets a Jeff Hanneman writing credit is Piano Wire. So good for you, dude. You're shitting on a dead guy.
Okay, well, sorry. But highlights, of course, Pride and Prejudice is, in my opinion, the best song on these last three albums. I also liked Cast the First Stone, Vices, Take Control. I liked Delusions of Savior and Repentless.
God damn, that's a lot. It's way too much.
While I will say that only one of these would I continuously listen to, I would listen to this album over the prior two. I gave this album a 35.
Good Lord.
I don't want to listen to any of these albums ever again.
that brings us to an overall score of 46.75.
The best scored one out of those three?
No, Christ Illusion was.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the overall Slayer score now, Dave?
So the overall Slayer
is Slayer a recommend?
It is because look, it's really hard. It's actually incredibly difficult to not be a recommend. If you really think about it. But
I have no idea what their score is.
41.23 overall.
Okay.
Well,
and I'm gonna go through and give each one of you your overall Slayer average. So
hey, real quick, I'm sorry. Where does that rate against Megadeth?
Oh, it's worse. It's by 3 points.
Megadeth was at 36.
Megadeth's 38.27. And I don't care, Fossil, if you go through the journey. I'm not going to count your scores against Megadeth because I already know you hate them. So
no, that is wrong.
Hey, look, we all hated them, and then we went down the journey, man.
And I will tell you,
and
look, I will just tell you right now, for those of you that haven't listened to our Megadeth journey, I can confidently say this now: Megadeth just takes a fat dump on both Slayer and Anthrax. It's like not even. It's like not even close.
Slow down.
Anyway,
so what was
Adrian? You're at you like actually you didn't. You liked Slayer the second most, 40.91. Josh, you hated Slayer the most, 43.45.
Wow.
I am apparently the biggest Slayer fan of the four of us at a 39.45. And Jason, you're right there in the middle, 41.09.
And that's I think that's about where I would rate Slayer, about 41. Like I would recommend them to people in this type of music, but they fall in that 40 range. That's like music I wouldn't mind listening to if I had to.
That's not positive.
Yeah.
If you force me to listen to it, I won't cry.
I mean, look, that to me, that's what a 40-ish range music is.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, now that we've completed the full catalog of Slayer here, we like to take the opportunity to present kind of our 12 worst songs and our 12-ish best songs, depending on if Dave did his homework or not here. So let's start with the worst songs here. I'll just throw my list out there first. This is in no particular order. I have Seasons in the Abyss, Scrum, Ditto Head, Fight Till Death, Final Command, Hell Awaits, Praise of Death, Jesus Saves. God, that song was fucking terrible. Reborn, Cleanse the Soul, and Psychopathy Red.
All right, I'll go next because it's real easy. Outside of Disciple, every song after Seasons in the Abyss can throw in the dumpster.
Oh,
Just
Wow.
whoop in the dumpster. Just gone. But outside of Disciple's a good song. That's the only one that I wouldn't throw in the dumpster.
Jesus.
All right. You want me to go or you want to go, Adrian?
go ahead, Jason.
All right. So my worst Slayer song at the very tippy top of the list. This is in order. Hell Awaits.
That's wrong.
Angel of Death. Die by the Sword.
Angel of Death.
Die by the Sword.
Awful.
Die by the Sword is a fantastic song.
It is a 77. Die by the Sword is a 68. Crypts of Eternity, Temptation, Criminally Insane, Killing Fields, Sex, Murder, Art, Fictional Reality, Show No Mercy, Hollowed Point, and Darkness of Christ.
Damn.
Two very different lists. Okay.
That is an interesting list. Okay, so look, here's the thing about Slayer for me is I don't think they write shitty music. Like they just don't do it.
Hey, so just before you start, that 12 are all 12 songs that got over a 50, and that was it. There wasn't a single song over 50 beyond those top 12.
Whoa. Oh, and is that an order?
Yeah, for me. But
From worst to not as bad.
Worst to not as bad. So Hollow Point, Darkness of Christ was a 50 for me. But to your point, like I said, like that was it. That was the 12. That's how many I had.
Yeah, and that just kind of goes back to them being me saying that they've been the most consistent of having heard finally all of Anthrax and Slayer's discography, and obviously having heard all of Metallica's, with the exception of Garage Incorporated. I struggled to make a Slayer shit list because I don't think they write bad music. Writing the same shit every single time isn't writing a bad song, I guess. So I was only able to pull together 4 songs of Slayers that I hate.
Oh, wow.
4. Number 4 is Deviance. Okay. Number 3 is Mandatory Suicide. Number
That's
2
a
is
good
Behind
song.
the Crooked Cross.
Y'all are crazy.
What was the third one?
Mandatory Suicide.
Okay.
Number 2 is Behind the Crooked Cross. And number 1 is Sex Murder Art.
Okay, well, at least you had one of them that I had.
As the worst fucking song they've written.
God, dude, I don't like y'all at all.
Gomez, keep on going here. Give us your greatest hits. What are the 12?
All right.
Fossil, you want to go?
Yeah, so my top 12 from the bottom up. Number 12, Across the River. 11, Death from Above. Final Command, Threshold, God Send Death, Exile, Dissonant Aggression, Payback, Pride and Prejudice, Tormentor, Silent Scream, and number 1, Cryonics.
Okay.
Payback, huh? That's a deep cut. I like Payback.
I'll go next. This is not in a particular order.
Because you don't know how to do your job.
No, because it's not that important. So
it is.
Nope.
You listen to thousands of hours of music, Dave.
Bro, no. You picked terrible songs. So okay, South of Heaven, War Ensemble, Spirit in Black, Silent Scream, Mandatory Suicide, Angel of Death, Rain and Blood, Disciple, Metal Storm Faced Slayer, At Dawn They Sleep, Behind the Crooked Cross, and Dead Skin Mask.
All right, that's a good list. All right, mine is in order, so I'll go from 12 up to 1. God Send Death, Love to Hate, Bitter Peace, Epidemic. Bitter Peace, then Spirit in Black, then Epidemic, Cryonics, Live Undead, South of Heaven, Raining Blood, Dead Skin Mask, Postmortem, and then I think the best song for me is Disciple.
Oh, hey, just because you guys brought it up, Dead Skin Mask is actually on my top 12. I do not know how I left it off. If I was going to just slip it in there, Across the River would be knocked out, and Dead Skin Mask is actually Dead Skin Mask is my second favorite song, just ahead of Silent Scream.
It's a great song.
It is great song.
So just to wrap up Slayer here before we move on to Anthrax, did we feel like we liked Slayer more than we thought? Did we feel like we're about where we thought we would be, or did we feel like we hated them? What do you guys think?
For me, go ahead, Adrian.
Oh my God!
All right, I'll go ahead, dude. So obviously, I have a different respect for them. I did not think their first 5 albums would. I didn't think I'd like them. To just put it simply, but I did. I don't think I really care for them much past Seasons in the Abyss, but. It is what it is. I think they'll always have, for me, they don't write shitty music, or rarely write shitty music, and, they've been the most consistent band. So, I guess the best I could say is I have a newfound respect for them. But I'm about where I thought I'd be. Or even, I don't really feel that much different about them. Like, I knew they were good, just, I don't know, not for me, I suppose.
All right.
Yeah. For me, I really wasn't familiar with them at all prior to coming into this, outside of Rain and Blood. And I have found that I think their first. I think what I've noticed Big Four.
Dave
they didn't
froze
really
again.
Yeah, Dave.
Dave, you're frozen. You're frozen, Dave.
Go ahead, Dave. You're good.
You're good now.
Okay. I don't know where I left off for you guys, but of the Big Four, they stayed the same, the most consistent. But I think the bad part about that is you can kind of just take the best of their albums, and you're not really missing anything, because you can just, like, for me, their first 5, and that's pretty much it. Like, there is nothing past the 5th album for me that it's just what they've already done but worse. So, like, why would I go past it? With other bands here, for better or worse, they tried other things, they branched out, but it gives you a reason to want to continue the journey. And I feel like Slayer, we could have stopped at Seasons in the Abyss, and I would have already heard everything Slayer has to offer.
Yeah, but if we stop there, then we don't get to God Hates Us All, which I think is, I don't know, I can't remember how I have it rated. I know I should have it rated at least as their second best album. I think I might have it as their first best.
Yeah, I have it as their best album.
Yeah, you and Jason liked it. Me and Adrian did not like it too much.
Yeah. Now, I can take every sentiment you said there and then say after God Hates Us All, cut it off, and I would be okay. Like, that's the last album that really kind of blew my skirt up for Slayer was God Hates Us All. Other than that, I would say, obviously, I think I was looking the least forward to Megadeth just for the Megadeth Metallica thing. But this band, I was really not anticipating much from. And I came out of this, like, a little bit more of a fan for sure. Like, I mean, I have 12 songs from them that I would definitely listen to anytime they come on, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have in that vein, I have like 2 or 3 albums, from Slayer that I confidently could say I will probably spin at some point.
Yeah.
Which is more than I had when I started.
Look, I'd never listened to Slayer. You guys dragged me into this. I am about where I thought I would be on Slayer. They're not terrible. I don't really care for their lyrical inputs as far as their music. It's not my thing. Even if it's just part of their shtick, it's just not my thing. But having said that, they do have some like really good songs. But also to Dave's point, after Seasons of the Abyss, there's only 2 songs in those albums that I actually consider like putting in my favorites. And on top of that, so what I did was I did a little bit something different. Is we all have our own aspect as far as like songs that we would keep and want to listen to over and over again. So what I did was I took any song that I gave under a 25. I consider that a great song. I put it in my favorites. I'll listen to it going forward. Anything that was over a 50, I considered a crap song. So in these albums that they have, there's 116 songs. And their great song hit percentage for me is 6%. So 6% of all the songs that they wrote, I consider to be great songs. But to everybody, I think we've all kind of agreed, is they don't write a bunch of just junk. So their crap percentage is only 10%. So of all the songs that they created, only came up 10% of them scored over a 50. So they're about what I thought they would be, but I will say that I was pleasantly surprised in the songs that I do like. I actually really do like.
So they're like 84% meh.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. And that goes to what you said, and that's that they know their lane. They get in that lane. They don't deviate from it, and that also keeps them from just writing a whole bunch of garbage, which we're going to get into here quickly when we switch over to Anthrax.
My God. All right. Well, let's just take that as a good segue here. That wraps up Slayer. So we're going to talk about the last 3 albums from Anthrax. So the first album we have coming up here is an album called "We've Come for You All." This album came out in May of 2003 and peaked at number 122 on the Billboard charts.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
that's like peeking on the stump outside my apartment, man.
So on this album, we've added a new guitar player. We've added Rob Caggiano. This is also the last John Bush record that we're going to get from Anthrax here. This album produced 2 singles, Taking the Music Back and Safe Home. Not much notes to go with that. Can I start on this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I actually I had this album, and I've had it for a long time, so I didn't listen to it for a long time, but I bought it specifically for the strength of the song What Doesn't Die. Because I saw a music video on this, which surprised me when I saw that this album only had 2 singles, but I know there's a music video for What Doesn't Die, so I don't know, maybe that was a later thing or something, but I really enjoyed the song. I knew it was Anthrax, but I didn't really think anything about it. Bought the album, and I remember listening to the album maybe once or twice, but I remember the standout songs being What Doesn't Die and Safe Home. So I do have those on my jams, my highlights. I also have Refuse to Be Denied, and I have Nobody Knows Anything. Really cool drum parts in that song. That's a fun song. Largely, I think this is a good album. I think this is probably the best of the John Bush era for me. Like, most of the riffs on this album are pretty good. It does get a little long in the tooth somewhere around the 8th or 9th song. I think somewhere around Strap On. I think it gets a little long, but if you cut those songs off, I think this album is a fucking banger. You did have a couple of cameos on this album. You had Roger Daltrey from The Who singing on this one on the song "Taking the Music Back," and you had Dimebag Darrell on 2 different songs, "Strap On" and Cadillac.
Rock Box.
Yeah, Cadillac Rock Box. So Dimebag's on both of those. Unfortunately, those are both songs. The only song I have on here that's a low light for me is "We've Come for You All." Overall, I think this is a really, really good album. I would certainly recommend this. I'd give this one a 30.
All right. I'll go next.
Leads too on this album. Sorry, good leads on this album.
I'll go next before my internet dies. I agree with you, Josh. I think this is the best of the John Bush era. I think it just ekes out Sound of White Noise, and I just think that's because it's just stylistically, it's more in my wheelhouse. It's a heavier release. Better. Yeah, production's better. It's a heavier release, so it kind of is more my jam. I like What Doesn't Die. I feel like how can you not like that song? Safe Home. Nobody Knows Anything. I feel like I do like Superhero. I don't know if I'd call it a highlight, but I do like that song. This album is incredibly This album is incredibly front heavy. I think Black Dahlia is the last song that is actually worth listening to. After Black Dahlia, I could pretty much just lop off the other 4 songs, and I would have a much better record. Now, that sounds really negative, but I actually really enjoy those first 9 songs. I think it's a really, very good song, one after the other. And even the songs I didn't name, they're good. I have this record at a 28.
Wow.
Which is just 1 point better than Sound of White Noise for me.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pop in here.
Right.
So to me, this is like the Sound of White Noise's true spiritual follow-up. Fuck the albums between this and that one.
Agreed.
Quite frankly.
That's true. That's a good call though, because this is the most similar to that album.
Yeah.
Correct.
I dug the fuck out of this. That's always a good sign. You put it in the first time and you're jamming, you're 4 or 5 songs in and everything's been a banger. That's always a good thing. Y'all said it, to me, this album's pretty much done after Black Dahlia, but I love almost every song before that. There's one song, I don't have it written down, after Black Dahlia that's okay, but I mean, honestly...
Think About an End?
What's that?
Crash.
Think About an End?
Think About an End, yeah. That one's actually good, but it's lost between these other shitty songs.
I think they should have thought about ending it.
Right, right, exactly.
Got him.
So my highlights are, What Doesn't Die, Safe Home, which I love that song. It's a great song. Any Place But Here, Nobody Knows Anything,
Yep.
Strap It On, and Black Dahlia. I dig the unnecessary use of blast beats in that song. Production's great. Lowlights, Cadillac Rockbox. It's a piece of shit. Crash is pointless. And We've Come For You All is just straight up. It's garbage. My score for this, though, it's carried by the first 9 tracks, which are excellent.
Yep.
I give it a 33%.
All right. I will agree with a lot of what all three of you said. It is front heavy. I will disagree, though, at the turning point because I can't stand Strap It On. I don't like... most of the songs after Strap It On for me are all mass songs. Cadillac Rockbox is very southern rock. I don't hate it, but it's just kind of there. We've Come For You All is absolutely garbage. But the front half, super solid. Highlights, What Doesn't Die is the best song on the album, followed by Safe Home, Superhero,
Yep.
Any Place But Here, Refuse to Be Denied is good. Even the instrumental Contact is fine. The issue with this album is the second half of the album. And, similar to what Adrian said, the score that I'm going to give it is carried by the front half, but my score is still going to be a 36, just because I feel like the second half is just not that great.
Well, dude, I think 36 is a really good score.
All right.
It is. It is. Like I said, I mean, the front half of this album is really good.
Like if I made a custom playlist of this record and I just omitted like the 3 songs on it that I will never ever listen to, like this record is an easy listen. It's great. And actually, believe it or not, even with all of that, this is the second highest rated Anthrax album. Woof, we've given some low scores in the past. This comes in at a 31.75. A very strong, I'd say that's a strong 31.
Yeah. What was Sound of White Noise?
27.25.
I predict we're going to beat that.
I do too.
What? Real quick.
What's the worst Anthrax album?
That is State of Euphoria at a 71.5.
Yeesh.
I gave that a 44.
Oh my god. Yeah, I gave that a 96.
What's Stomp?
God.
Stomp is a 57.25. Because Jason and Josh apparently liked it.
What did I give State of Euphoria?
You gave it a 55.
Okay.
I beat you on that one too.
All right. Well, let's stop talking about shitty albums because we're going to come up on a fucking good one here.
Because, God, where has this Anthrax been, these 2 albums?
I don't know.
I don't know, dude. All right. We got the 10th album here from Anthrax called Warship Music. Came out in September of 2011. This album brings the return of Joey Belladonna. There's a little bit of a singer shuffle here going on from the last album to this one. They split ways with John Bush, reunited with Joey Belladonna, and did a tour for the original Among the Living lineup, and they played that entire album on that tour. When they decided to start writing the next album, I forget the specifics here, but somewhere along the line, they hired a guy named Dan Nelson to sing, but they later fired him. They tried to get John Bush back into the band. He decided not to do it. And so they then settled on Joey Belladonna to come back.
What a great call.
Yeah, Jason, why don't you go first?
All right, so this was the most difficult album for me to rate because for me personally, like this is a great album. And we talked about this a little bit, and apparently, like, I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm going to go with it anyway. The least that Belladonna can be involved in any capacity, I don't even care if he's in the same room, Send that guy to the other side of the world, do the entire album, and then just call him in, do nothing but sing it the way you want to, and you get worship music. Because this song only has one low light, and it's not even that low of a low light because other people in this group like it, and that's Earth on Hell. I tried so much to love that song because this is a great album, and that was the only song that was keeping this back. Highlights for me, Fight 'Em Till You Can't, I'm Alive, In the End, Judas Priest, Crawl. I mean, almost every single song on here is a keeper. That is filled with, I think, 3 instrumentals. Those technically can be skippers. This song would be even lower rated if it wasn't for Earth on Hell. I gave this a 19.
Whoa. Ooh, there we go, Fossil.
Jason putting up the big boy numbers finally.
It is the first album that I will give under a 20. And like I said, if it wasn't for Earth on Hell, it'd be lower. And I really had to struggle with this one because it feels like a better album than Sound of White Noise.
You know, Jason, you can give it whatever score you feel it deserves.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to earn it. So, like I said, I started off with Earth on Hell at a 50. I was able to get it down to a 41, but I was tired of listening to it. And Devil You Know, while good, is not a great song. But everything else on here is in my favorites, just about. Great album. This is the pinnacle of belladonna with Anthrax for me personally.
Yeah. I think it was, I think it's a great use of belladonna, especially when you compare the first few albums that he's on versus this one now. Yeah. Where really now they're using them like in the John Bush role. So he's kind of doing the same type of melodies that John Bush would, but he's still got like that little bit of a better singing voice. I was blown away when I heard this album and I heard Joey Belladonna because I was just like, dude, this is so much better than it was when they used him before. So, maybe they let him have a little bit more input, or maybe they just tried to use what Steve's strengths were early on in the career. But in this one, they put him into a nice groove, and dude, it was really good.
Well, Josh, why don't you go ahead and go, man?
Yeah, I thought for me, I echo a lot of the same things Jason said here. Great album. Highlights for me, I think this album really starts at I'm Alive, and it fucking crushes all the way through the rest of the album. But I have I'm Alive, I have The Giant, The Devil You Know, The Constant. The only low light for me is Earth on Hell, same thing. Wasn't a huge fan of that one. I'm coming in with a pretty good score on this one. I have this slightly lower than Super Collider. I have this at a 21.
Okay.
Well, lower, slightly higher, slightly to the worst side of Super Collider.
I'll go next real quick. I'll be quick on this. Yeah, I would say this. I've been waiting for this version of Anthrax this whole time. And I will small preview if this album and the next album was the version of Anthrax we would have gotten from the beginning, this would be a whole different ball game for me. In terms of who is the best band in the Big Four. That's how good these albums have been for me. This album doesn't. We all kind of seem to have a little different thing on when this album starts. To me, it starts with "Fight 'Em Till You Can't." Earth on Hell, like it's fine the first time you listen to it, but then after that, like I don't need to hear it ever again. And The Devil You Know is a fine song, but it's not amazing. But after this, like the album is great. I think it's very, very good, and I'm coming in at a 24 on this. Great production also. I don't know if anybody's mentioned that. Fantastic production.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried about Joey Belladonna coming back to sing because I did not like this dipshit singing whatsoever.
Why is he got to be a dipshit, bro?
Dude, he's easily been the worst part of this band for me. Even though he's just singing what they're telling him to.
You think he's worse than Charlie Benante writing riffs on the first few albums?
Well, he redeems himself.
Yeah, he does now, but I'm talking about the first few albums, like the same thing as the Belladonna albums. Those riffs are trash.
Yeah, I think he's the worst part of those albums. Easily. And he's back, and hey, I think he sounds better than he ever has. I think you're onto something, Josh, when you're saying that this music was written, I'm assuming, for
Dan Nelson.
Dan Nelson,
John Bush, yeah.
And
Dan Nelson has writing credits on every song, I think.
Yeah, all of them except 2, but I think it's 11 of them or some shit like that. Anyway,
from what I read, there were 19 tracks for this album.
Oh shit! Yeah. But at least they didn't put them on there.
God.
But this is the first. In a while, this is the first album that doesn't feel long, but I think it's partly due to its weakness, and that's the fact that the first 3 tracks they're just not good. They are not good. Luckily, one of them is just an intro. I do not like Earth on Hell, and I do not like Devil That You Know. Those are my 2 lowlights. But the album, I thought I was in for some garbage. Luckily, when Fight 'Em Till You Can't came on, I was like, okay, we're cooking with fire here. It's actually a really good album. Great production. Joey sounds better than ever. Hell, I feel like all these guys, it's 2011, so 11 years ago? It sounds like they're better musicians than they'd ever been. My highlights are Fight 'Em Till You Can't, In the End, and Judas Priest, which I think has the coolest fucking lead part at the beginning and end.
Is that not a cover?
What's that?
Is that not a cover?
Oh, shit. I have no idea.
What, Judas Priest?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yep. And again, lowlights are Earth on Hell and Devil You Know. I really hate that when I think about putting this album on, forget about Spotify for a second, and you want to think about an album, you start the album off with a fucking bang, and they just don't do it on this one. They literally put their worst songs at the start of this album, and I just think that's a real big asterisk for me.
Yeah.
Warship music, it's a 38% from me.
38?
Oh, wow.
38.
Wow.
All right. Still respectable. It's a very good score. 25.5. That has taken the number one spot in Anthrax's albums.
How close is that to whatever finished number 2? What was number 2?
Sound of White Noise, 27.25, so a full 2 points better.
That's not that. I don't hate that.
No. Well, just to keep this train moving here, Warship Music can enjoy being in that spot here for about 10 more minutes, and then I think it's going to have a new number 1 here. So we'll move on to the next album. This is the last album from Anthrax right now, called For All Kings. This came out in February of 2016 and peaked at number 9 on the Billboard charts. With this album, we see the addition of John Donias on lead guitar, who was formerly in Shadows Fall. Rob Caggiano leaves the band here to be part of the rockabilly metal band Volbeat. Wow. This album does produce 3 singles: Evil Twin, Breathing Lightning, and Monster at the End. Dave, why don't you go first, man? You were suckling at the teat of this album for the longest out of all of us, I think.
Yeah, and look, I predict I'm probably going to have the best score here. Up to this point, even though I did enjoy Warship music, I really never found a true classic metal, legendary type of album from a band that I figured would have multiple. And I was pretty much content that I wasn't going to get one. And then I got to this album, and immediately with the production and specifically the riffs and the guitar playing, the band is firing on all cylinders. I think Joey Belladonna has not sounded this good ever. This is the best he's ever sounded. The lyrics are very, very well done. It's almost got kind of like a anti-religion kind of vibe going through most of the album. at least in on the surface at the very least. My highlights are I mean I don't want to cop out and just pick the whole album, but basically the whole album is nothing but highlights. Just to point out some exceptional tracks here. You Gotta Believe, Monster at the End, For All Kings, Breathing Lightning. I think the first four are money in the bank. Blood Eagle Wings, all of them thieves. This Battle Chose Us. I mean, the other songs I didn't name are still great songs. I love this record from start to finish. Best production they've had, best riffs they've had, and the addition of the guitarist from Shadows Fall on lead is easily the best lead guitar player they've had, and truly elevates every one of these tracks to near legendary status. I almost did it, but I just have it just short. I have this album at an 11.
Wow.
That's a big score.
That is a big score. You want me to go next so I can bring this back down to earth a little bit?
Do it, Fossil.
All right. This is a solid album. Very good album. The issue that I have is that there are a couple of lowlights for me. I found myself, I think for me, and me and Dave have tried to figure this out, but I like things that are, I guess, more catchy, that have maybe choruses that really suck me in. I'm not exactly sure, but For All Kings, while a very good album, misses on a few of those for me. So lowlights for me, like I do not like Zero Tolerance, and to be contrarian, I do not like All of Them Thieves.
What?
I know, I don't. It is the second worst song on this album.
Dude,
that's
now,
impossible.
Highlights.
That is impossible.
Highlights for me, the best song for me, I liked Blood Eagle Wings, Breathing Lightning, Monster at the End. I liked For All Kings, even Suzerain,
Suzerain.
Fuck that song. And then the other songs are all fine. Like I said, there's only 2 songs on here that I would skip, and I've already said what they were. I end up with a 29 for this album.
Okay.
All right.
But I will say, lastly, with these last 3 albums, I'm actually looking forward to their next album.
Yeah. Which they are working on.
100%.
You want
to go?
Yep, I'll go ahead and go. So, Dave, you said that Warship Music was the Anthrax you're waiting for. For All Kings was the Anthrax I was waiting for. It's interesting that we barely got this great album, almost 40 years after their anniversary
Their debut.
Yeah, so
it is strange because I mean, look, even Metallica, I can admit, right? I mean, they're not throwing like their fastball, after a certain, maybe after Injustice for All, maybe after the Black Album for some, whatever, like they peak, early on in their career. Same thing with Megadeth, same thing with Slayer, but I mean, we just now are reaching the peak of Anthrax, and that's super weird after 11 albums, isn't it?
right.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think it's even weirder because you'd think, oh, well, they have some young blood in their album, in the band now. Well, no, he just came in to do the solos. Like the principal songwriters from day one wrote this album.
There's still Charlie and Scott Ian.
Yeah, and they're I love their new direction. They're obviously they're still having fun, I'd imagine, but it's not about just stupid shit that their music has been about pre-John Bush.
Yeah.
And I think Joey Belladonna he's never sounded better. Production for Anthrax has never sounded better. Charlie Benedante's the drummer.
Yeah.
You would think it's some fucking 20-year-old playing those goddamn drums back there. And I mean, this guy is knocking on 60. And even the songs on this album that aren't all that, the new guitarist, his leads just what'd you say, Dave, brings
Elevate.
life to them?
Yeah.
I mean, it's he's an unbelievable guitarist. In fact, I had a Shadows Fall album just specifically to hear this guy play. Like, Shadows Fall's fucking garbage, but that guy is a fantastic guitar player. I have no lowlights for this album.
Yep.
Highlights are You Gotta Believe, For All Kings, Blood Eagle Wings, This Battle Chose Us, and obviously All of Them Thieves.
Yeah.
For All Kings, for me, gets a 22% on the shit-o-meter.
There you go.
That's a good score.
There you go. Now, Shadows Fall does have a song called War, which is pretty good.
I just think
that's worth
their singers.
That's worth checking out,
dude.
Oh, I agree. Like, especially seeing him live, like that dude is ridiculous with his stupid hair. Yeah. So, For All Kings, dude, this fucking album is so good. Like, you get, I feel like this is the album for Anthrax where they take everything that they've done well throughout their career and actually do it all on one album. Like, you have some good, slower, groovy kind of songs, but you really do have some good thrash moments on this album. And I would say some of these are more thrash than maybe what they were doing for thrash metal in their first 4 records. In terms of their technicality, the solos, things like that, right? So
they got rid of all the punk stuff.
Dude, I mean, I don't know, Jason, to your point, like you brought up, like, you know, you need something that's more hooky during the chorus and stuff like that for you. I think this album is full of that. I think this is the best Joey Belladonna. This is the best Anthrax by far. One thing I would like to point out is something that I have hammered home times about Anthrax as we've done their albums is they have no business writing 7-minute songs. Dude, let me tell you a story, bro. Blood Eagle Wings at 7 minutes 53 seconds, a fucking jam.
It does not feel like 7 minutes.
Where the fuck has this been? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Highlights for me. Oh, dude. Highlights for me, I got Monster at the end, For All Kings, Breathing Lightning, Suzerain, Blood Eagle Wings, and obviously all of them thieves.
Dude, that song is so good.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. As far as lowlights go, I have not a single lowlight on this album. This album is nearly untouchable. I would give this album a 15.
Dang.
Yeah, damn.
Change my score and make it higher, apparently.
No. Okay,
so like to what Josh said, and I was looking through my notes while you guys are doing your deck.
That's
to
nice.
what Josh said, where this, like there are catchy parts in each of these songs. I agree. For me, like a lot of these songs, I have like the lyrics didn't do it for me, but the chorus is great. Or the lyrics are good, the chorus really didn't hit me. It's like, for whatever reason on this album, for me, like there wasn't enough songs where both of them got me. Good, very, very good album though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought this was a modern day classic. I think what we've learned is 2016, like that year, was an absolute killer, and I feel ashamed, honestly, straight up, because this was the same year Dystopia came out, and Hardwired. Testament had a release that came out this same year, and the only album I ever was excited for was Metallica. I could have been excited for this. I could have been excited for Megadeth, and no. I have
Slayer was at the end of 2015, right?
Yeah. Within 14 months, every member of the Big Four released a new album.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we were over there fucking doing nothing. This album is just miles ahead of everything else that Anthrax has done. This is at a 19.25. This is this just edges out Rust in Peace as the second highest reviewed album we've done so far.
I can't wait to get to Rust in Peace.
What's the first highest reviewed album?
Dystopia. At a 15.67. Dystopia is going to be tough to beat, except after the second album of Metallica.
So what does that bring the overall score to Anthrax?
Look, I would say this. This is okay. Before I say the overall score, this is in bad taste because Slayer's future is they don't exist anymore because they disbanded. But Anthrax's future is super bright. So don't let this score, if you're listening, don't let this score like deter you from Anthrax. They're at a 44.45. It's not good.
Bro, that's a hell of a comeback though.
It is.
So I'm just gonna briefly. I didn't do this for Slayer because all of Slayer scores are basically in the 30s and 40s. Like it's like straight down the line. There's no moving. So after State of Euphoria, which was a 71.5 overall for us, then they have a 48 with Persistence, a 27 Sound of White Noise, so a bright spot there. But then it's 57.50. So out of 6 albums, they have 1 album that's a recommend, and the rest are not recommends. And then these last 3, 31, 25, 19.
Yeah, bro.
So Anthrax is on the move. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how they top For All Kings. I don't think they are going to. Like, I'm just being completely honest. I don't know how you top that record. But I
people, if we were experiencing them when
from the beginning, basically.
No, not from the beginning. What's the first third album?
We've Come for You All.
We've Come for You All. The first of the 3, I meant to say. They've gotten consistently better
every time.
Each time. I mean, for the most part,
by a lot, by 6 points each on average for us.
Yeah. So I mean, like, dude. They have no business not releasing an album at least of the same caliber.
Hey, look.
Yeah. You know what's pretty cool as well is, so we know Megadeth is almost about to release a record sometime soon. Anthrax, they've been working on it. Metallica presumably has been doing something to do with an album.
Because I will say
we could have another scenario where they come out all similar time.
Speaking of Metallica, just for a second, that you bring that up, Josh. I mean, I feel like they got to be ramping up something because they've been playing a lot of shows recently. They've been doing a lot. There's been a lot of movement in the Metallica camp, and they've been real tight in their live performances. And I feel like, is that because they're doing a lot of playing in the studio? Maybe they're, I don't know. Maybe. Do we get a surprise drop?
Well, that'd be sweet. Hey, look, I'm just glad that Anthrax worked their way back up into a recommend band. Because there are certainly some killer albums from Anthrax.
Oh, yeah. It's some great songs. And some really bad songs.
Yeah, while we're talking about the really bad songs, let's talk about the Anthrax. Who wants to give their worst 12?
I'll go easy. It's State of Euphoria.
There you go.
I'm done.
I think that's a fair assessment.
A cop out.
Yeah.
Adrian?
Go ahead, Gomez.
All right. So I got mine in order from
good for you. Glad you participated.
Worst to even fucking worst. Number 12, The Devil You Know. Number 11, We Come for You All. Number 10, Cadillac Rock Box. Number 9, Gung Ho. Number 8, 13. Number 7, I'm 18. 6, Harm's Way. 5, Big Fat. 4, Pieces. 3, 10 songs from Stomp 442 that aren't Bear. Number 2, Bear.
Yeah.
Number 1, A Toast to the Extras.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing? I only have like 3 of those songs on my worst list. Because all of those are terrible.
Mm.
You want me to go next?
Yeah, somebody
do it.
Okay, so from worst to even god awful, Love Justice, Hate Red, Soldier of Metal, Misery Loves Company, Metal Thrash Mad, which I know Dave loves.
That's a good
Imitation
song.
of Life, Drop the Ball, Cup of Joe, Bear, Discharge, Toast of the Extra, and by far the worst fucking song, I Am the Law.
Oof. How do you have Cup of Joe on that list, dude? That's a disgrace.
That song sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Awesome.
I agree, Adrian. All right, my worst of list. Unfortunately, I only have the number one song as my actual number one after this, because they are all so bad, it was really hard for me to order it. But I have Indians. I have We've Come For You All, Antisocial, Bear, Toast to the Extras, Hogtied, Make Me Laugh, Schism, Who Cares Wins, Be All End All, Evil Nika Fussin', and my least favorite Anthrax song is, in fact, Anthrax.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I know longtime Anthrax fans, like, this is not for them, but like they have some just absolute just obnoxiously bad songs. Holy shit.
Let's just in comparison, like I only had 2 songs from Slayer that I had over a 70, and almost every one of the songs in my worst 12 were a 70 or a higher.
Damn.
So best of, I'll go first because I know y'all like to do y'all's in order, and I just kind of went in order. I just kind of picked them from the album, so no particular order. AIR, that's still a great fucking song. I like Madhouse. Sorry guys, I know some of y'all don't like that song too much, but I think Madhouse is good. Potter's Field, Only, What Doesn't Die, Safe Home, Fight 'Em Till You Can't, and then yes, this is 5 songs from For All Kings. You Gotta Believe, For All Kings, Breathing Lightning, Blood Eagle Wings, and All of Them Thieves.
I'll go next. The only thing, again, I have an order here. It's just my number one song, unfortunately. But I'll just go from the bottom here. I do have, in fact, All of Them Thieves. Breathing Lightning. Yeah. Breathing Lightning, For All Kings, Refuse to Be Denied, I'm Alive, 1,000 Points of Hate, Safe Home, What Doesn't Die, Room for One More, Only, AIR, and my favorite Anthrax song is Suzerain.
Wow,
that's good. Okay. That's
out of left field.
Love that song.
That's a good song. That's a great song.
All right, I'll let you go, Jason.
Okay. I had a tough play here in the bottom section of this. It was a lot of jumping around here, but I finished with Safe Home, Blood Eagle Wing, Crawl, Burst, What Doesn't Die, Crush, Judas Priest, Panic, In the End, Fight 'Em Till You Can't, Only, and my number one song, I'm Alive.
Nice.
All right, Adrian.
Cool. All right, so mine are in order from best to absolute fucking favorite. So number 12, Antisocial. That's right, Josh. Number 11, I Am the Law. That's right, Jason.
Oh my God.
Number 10, Burst. Number 9, Medusa. Number 8, In the End. Number 7, All of Them Thieves. 6, Blood Eagle Wings. 5, Judas Priest. 4, Safe Home. 3, Only. 2, Black Lodge, and 1, Panic.
We're gonna have to get in a car one day, all 4 of us, and throw on All of Them Thieves. Because, dude, I bet you that's a fucking banger in the car. Like when everybody's singing.
Just be sitting over here on his phone.
Man, All of Them Thieves, yay!
Yay! Oh, dude, what a fucking comeback, dude! I did not see For All Kings coming. That I think if we could take a second here just to reflect back on Anthrax a little bit. I went into Anthrax with super high hopes because of how good Slayer was and how good Megadeth was. So I know maybe I was a little over dramatic when I was talking about the first 4 Anthrax albums, but dude, that was like a super fucking bummer listening to those albums. Like,
yeah,
I want a point of order real quick, just to make, because I know Anthrax, we kind of shit on them the whole time, so I'm trying to give them some spotlight here, and like a lot of the work they did on their own. So the top 3 Anthrax albums is Sound of White Noise at a 27.25, We've Worship Music at a 25.5 and For All Kings at a 19.25. All of those 3 records were better scored than any other Slayer record.
Yeah,
Would you say all of
them records? So I just want to. I'm just saying, like, Anthrax definitely had lower lows, but they had much higher highs. Like yeah. Go ahead.
And I say they had the most Jekyll and Hyde of about any band that I can think of. As far as like a comparison to what I did with Slayer, as far as great songs versus crap songs, Anthrax had 12% of their songs I considered great songs that I put into my favorites list. But they created 122 songs and 21%.
Wow.
Crap.
That's like 24 songs, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Give or take.
I mean, like I said, I had 23 songs that I rated over a 50.
I am so excited though for the next Slayer
so-
or for the next Anthrax
they were-
record.
They were so hit or miss, but I think we can all agree that the last 3 albums were just phenomenal.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so we've made it through Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth. So there's only one band left in the big 4. That's the band that I saw live a couple nights ago. Still fucking, big dick swinging out there on the stage. Metallica.
All right, so y'all can just give me all your scores now. Y'all have already heard all these records. I already got mine. Let me go ahead and start. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, here we go. Let's do it.
One.
We're gonna do all of Metallica pods here. So these are gonna be crammed. So the first one we're doing is gonna be Kill 'Em All through Garage.
Yes, correct.
So Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master, Justice, Black Album, and Garage.
Correct.
Yep.
And then we'll start the second one with Load, Reload,
S&M, Saint Anger, Death Magnetic, Hardwired.
Gotcha.
Maybe by the time
Everybody
we
good with
get
that?
to, hey, look, potentially, depending on how long we take, and maybe we get a surprise.
Potentially.
What if we get a surprise Metallica album? That'll almost be unfair if we get a surprise Metallica album before we get to the end. Because
That would be awesome.
What are we talking about? 12 weeks till we get there, or am I way overshooting?
No, somewhere between 10 and 12.
Okay.
Before we get to the end of, before we get to the second pod.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't think we need a ton of time in between here. I mean, Adrian, and I think is the only Garage. Jason, you've heard Garage Inc., right?
Probably.
No, that's
you've also only heard like a minute or two of Saint Anger.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I listened to the first at least 30 seconds or 45 seconds of it.
Well, look, here's the deal. I know there's at least one highlight waiting for Jason there when we get there.
That is right. That is correct. If you listen to our Metallica bracket,
don't. It's a waste of time.
There was a song
You're talking
that
about the best song won.
I was shocked. That was from Saint Anger.
God.
Unnamed Feeling.
Correct.
God, fucking Harvester of Sorrow. Give me a break.
Wait, Harvester of Sorrow won that?
Nope.
No. Harvester of Sorrow beat 1 to go to the finals and lost to Creeping Death.
Adrian, how do you feel about that? I regret asking this question, but
well, to say the least, the exchange and the Doink the Clown reference was classic. Y'all recall he said, "I was hoping for Stone Cold or for Austin versus Rock. Instead, I'm getting Austin versus," and he paused and had to think about it for a second. And goes, "Fucking Doink the Clown." Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate it. Yeah. But guys, I think we've successfully completed another podcast.
And
We've done it.
Are we Anthrax fans now, or
I am.
Ish.
ish?
Certain albums. I wouldn't go so far as to say I'm an Anthrax fan, but I'm a fan of certain albums. If they come out with another fucking killer on the next one, then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
Take it easy, everybody.
Live long and prosper.
See ya.